football his entire career in the cold of Lambeau Field. 15-3 at home when the temperature's below freezing, as it was at kickoff. And then Aaron Rodgers doing Aaron Rodgers things, free play.
Nice catch by the young man. Man,
Christian
Watson,
North Dakota State. He's turning to Chris Carter, isn't he?
Jeez.
That's all he does.
They snap it early. Snap it early, get a penalty. He's done this so many times.
Yep. But a missed extra point makes it just a 7-6 game. The Green Bay Packers down 1. Derrick Henry doing his thing with Coach Vrabel and then doing his thing on the field. 10th rushing touchdown of the season right there. 5th straight season with 10 or more rushing touchdowns, and then why not throw one as well.
Love it. The jump pass, Mooch.
He had a 42-yard reception on this drive that he capped off with this.
You said they should keep him in there. Throw it to him. You were saying that.
I know. If they had thrown it to him, he would have pulled a McCaffrey. You know? Fourth quarter, Ryan Tannehill. What a great game for Ryan Tannehill, huh?
He's back.
Well, I mean, if you're going to dare him to throw, and then what a throw to Austin Hooper.
Okay.
This was initially ruled incomplete, but as you could see, catch down on the ground. And the Titans just went into Green Bay and pounded Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who also had some open receivers towards the end of the game. Just missed them. And it's a 10-point loss for Green Bay. Big win for Tennessee. They go to their mini-bye into Thanksgiving. And here's the issue. They're now, the Packers, 7 losses behind Minnesota. And if the Cowboys do them a favor in the division and beat Minnesota today, the problem is the Cowboys improved to 7-3, and that's the only team you see on the screen. Because the Giants have beaten the Packers, the Commanders have beaten the Packers. The Cowboys are the only current team sitting there in the top 6 that the Packers can put a win on the table and say, we
beat them head-to-head.
We beat you head-to-head.
Wow.
So they're in I don't see what the path is right now.
Did you say they're 7 games back from the Vikings?
In loss column, correct, right now.
7 games back.
Well, they would be if they you know, they're 4-7.
Crazy.
Right. So they would be if they lose one more. My bad. Hey, Mooch. What happened for this Green Bay Packer team? What do you got for me on this front?
You know what? So when you talk about football, that's what we're talking about today. There's a lot of things that go into it, right? Like you're talking about, here's a team that's won 13 games. What's the matter with you? 13 games, 3 years in a row. You got the MVP, you got the coach, you got everything going for you. You're at the top of the mountain. And all of a sudden, collapse city, right? It's not bowling, it's not ski jumping, where it's an individual sport. This is like a lot of things that are falling apart at a lot of different levels, all right? Let's rewind back to when they tried to re-sign Davante Adams, okay? And it wasn't just Davante. It's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They lost their 2 top receivers. That'd be like you and Harper gone in 1 year, okay? Troy wouldn't be happy about that. All right. So they actually offered more money to Davante than the Raiders did, and he still went to the Raiders. All right, I don't get that one. But you're talking about injuries. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers' thumb. You had a bad hand for a while, didn't you? You're talking about all these receivers that are been hurt. Then finally, Christian Watson starting to contribute. Offensive lineman, Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins, hurt. We're not blaming Aaron Rodgers. We're not blaming some receivers. We're blaming the circumstances here that all accumulate to this team is not as good as it's been because of all the missing parts and the lack of practice time together. And you name it, it's just been a tough year on the Green Bay Packers. Now, can they win some games? Yeah. Can they make the playoffs? It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard.
I don't see a path. I really don't see a path.
I don't know if I see a path. And, you know, I was the one guy on the set that said they were done a couple weeks ago. And, you know, again, it was not about one person. It was just about all the different issues that you see on this team. And I'll specifically just look at the passing game. And again, not just about Aaron Rodgers, not just about the wide receivers. The offensive line is mixed in there. But they have no mid-range passing game. Is that almost 28% of their throws come behind the line of scrimmage. So they're not creating opportunities down the field. So it's just try to get it out, all these wide receiver screens, or the other side of it, or we're just going to throw it down the field. And they don't get great separation. Christian Watson has been good the last couple weeks. That has changed that a little bit. But they just haven't developed anything in the passing game. They've run the football fairly decent, but between the offensive line, between Aaron, between the wide receivers, there's nothing working for them that you can hang your hat on. And that, to me, has been the issue week in and week out. When you need to make a play in the passing game, they just haven't been able to do it because there's no continuity there.
Boy, you know I love all three of y'all. I swear I love all three of y'all.
Thank you.
But I just saw something. It's interesting sitting on this side. It's almost like I'm watching TV myself and watching you guys. You guys do excellent work. You do excellent work.
Thanks, sir.
Now,
when we talk about football.
You ended this whole thing, when we talk about football. You ended this whole thing saying, and there you go, Aaron Rodgers throwing that ball, that last pass he threw, like he made a bad pass, which really, that receiver mistimed that throw. It wasn't a horrible throw. And then, Coach, you gave a nice, soliloquy, this thing that my boy loves to say, Stephen A., about the Packers and how well they did and how hard they try to do to keep Devontae Adams, which I disagree, because after the fact, they always come out and say, well, we offer more money. I don't care about you offering more money. How much ego did you bruise along the way before you had to offer more money? So that was your responsibility, too, to cultivate the relationship. I keep telling these GMs, when you're negotiating with wide receivers, we are emotional creatures. Don't say one thing one year and then come back thinking you just put more money on and everybody's going to be okay. So that's an issue. Kurt, you were not the only one on the set that said they were through. I picked the Minnesota Vikings to win the division.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
All three of y'all came out talking nothing.
This is about the Packers.
And the reality is, wait, let me finish. I am on remote. I'm supposed to be able to finish on remote. Let me finish. Now, everybody trying to put this on Aaron Rodgers. Every article I've read talks about Aaron Rodgers having had a 300-yard game in 16 games, and talk about people like Kenneth Walker and Taylor Heineke has more 300-yard games. Is it time to get rid of Aaron Rodgers? It's the craziest thing in the world. Aaron Rodgers is a back-to-back MVP. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. We need to put this on the GM and those guys in the front office, guys, and stop trying to help everybody usher Aaron Rodgers out the door. I just wanted to drop all of that on everybody, man. I'm home alone.
Well, I mean, again. Yeah, I know. But we would not forget to take you to Paris, okay? We would not just leave you at home.
Okay.
Never do that, Michael.
Rich Viking star Justin Jefferson made one of the most remarkable catches in NFL history last week in that overtime win over the Bills. Jefferson also suffered an injury to his big toe that he told me caused him quite a deal of pain in that game. He was limited in practice this week with what I am told is a mild turf toe injury. It is something the Vikings are going to have to manage going forward. But when I asked Jefferson if he'll be restricted today against Stephon Diggs and the Cowboys, Jefferson smiled and said, nah, not at all. He is a big reason the Vikings are 8-1, already closing on the NFC North title. Today they host a Cowboys team coming off a frustrating loss at Green Bay, but still in the thick of the NFC playoff chase.